You are about to hear a selection from Part 2 of the audiobook Renegade Mystic, The Pursuit of Spiritual Freedom Through Consciousness Exploration by Sean McNamara. Whereas Part 1 is his memoir detailing his personal experiences, Part 2 is the distillation of certain events and the lessons they teach. If you are seeking guidance from a spiritual mentor or someone claiming to have hidden information of any sort, this is for you.
Essay 3. Caution when choosing a spiritual teacher or group. There are several things to consider when you are either getting started with a teacher or a group, or wondering if it's time to end that relationship. The section below will help you preserve your autonomy and the integrity of your journey. This is intended as a starting point. Meeting with a counselor or a therapist, one who is not a member of that group, could be very helpful in your decision-making. Before joining a group, are you clear on what your particular spiritual goals are or what questions you're seeking answers to? Have you researched this teacher or group well enough to know whether or not they're focused on the same things you are? Or does their path take you in a different direction? Keep in mind, if you don't know what direction you want to go in life, other people will be more than happy to make that decision for you, and it could be the wrong one. Do you feel drawn to the teacher's personality? Take some time to reflect on yourself and see if they remind you of someone you've already met, like a family member you admire or someone you've lost. You should also reflect on whether or not this teacher might subconsciously fill a role for you, such as replacing your father or mother figure or an absent lover. Is the teacher described as possessing some kind of transcendent quality, such as being enlightened or having direct communication with a spiritual or otherworldly authority? If so, do you feel like you're able and allowed to ask them face to face if this is truly the case and to tell you more about what that's like? If you feel nervousness about it or like it's something which just isn't done, this could be a sign of trouble. The unspoken suppression of open inquiry could be one way a person or group maintains control over its members. If the teacher claims their followers achieve certain results or goals, take the time to interview the group members who've spent a great deal of time with the teacher. Ask them if they've indeed experienced those results, or how their time with the teacher has helped them. Then ask yourself if these students demonstrate characteristics which you would like to acquire. Are these characteristics only available here, or have you found them in other groups as well? Analyze the business aspect of the organization. It's completely fair for a teacher or group to earn money. School teachers, doctors, and personal trainers make money for their work, since in our society, this is how we take care of ourselves. People who believe a teacher should work for free might never have had to make a living themselves. These would be children, or are still being supported by their parents, and in this case these would be dependent adults, or can't accept that the days of bartering service or items of value in exchange for teachings are long past. Spiritual teachers need to pay their rent like everybody else. But there are two questions. Are you getting what you're paying for? In other words, who's getting the benefit here? You or the teacher? Is it an equal exchange, or does it feel imbalanced? The second question is the teacher's income appropriate to their role? For instance, when the CEO of a nonprofit dedicated to helping the homeless and underserved earns a multi-million-dollar salary, society raises its eyebrows, as it should. If your spiritual teacher's income is similarly inflated, it's worth taking a closer look. There's no objective answer. In other words, you have to decide if the situation feels appropriate to you personally. Is this person a full-time teacher, meaning do they earn all their income from this, or do they have a regular job and teach on the side? If they make most of their income elsewhere, this increases the chance they can act with integrity and not be concerned with attracting more followers to give themselves a bonus or raise their standard of living. If they have a day job, there's a greater likelihood their feet are firmly on the ground and they can relate to life's ordinary challenges rather than descending from their pedestal to, quote, save you. Do an online search about potential issues attributed to the group or teacher by using terms like abuse, harm, cult, fraud, sexual assault, and high demand. Online watchdog groups might have already identified the teacher as problematic. However, in the end, you'll need to decide for yourself. I make this final entry in this section since there seem to be more and more groups forming around people with special or secret information concerning UFOs, now known as UAPs, or extraterrestrial phenomena. In some cases, they resemble spiritual ministers who go from town to town, attracting followers and donations as they share their revelations to people hungry for meaning. I'll keep this simple. Ask to see the real evidence of any claims made by that individual. Question the evidence itself. You don't have to believe anything you don't want to. In fact, take everything that is not a part of your direct experience with a big grain of salt. It is not necessary for you to believe everything you hear in order to enjoy a presentation, but be careful with what you accept as real. The same goes for channeling. I'm not saying these aren't authentic experiences and modalities. I'm saying that some of the people using them might not be sincere or ethically minded. Use your discretion. Spotting trouble after joining a group. Here's signs to watch out for. A large portion of the group's energy is focused on the teacher's personal dramas or emotional flare-ups. Unspoken group tension following rumors of conflict. Individuals quietly leaving the group without giving notice or explanation, as if escaping. Members are kicked out, then welcomed back in with a gross overexpression of acceptance and love called love bombing from the teacher or other group members. The teacher speaks about students or others when they are not in the room, making examples out of them or explaining their side of things. You feel tense or uneasy during lectures, meditations, or ceremonies. Trust your gut. You discover there are hoops you must go through to reach the next level. These hoops come with an exorbitant fee, a requirement of some kind of service, or a statement of personal commitment. You begin to determine your self-worth by how much attention or the quality of attention you receive from the teacher and group members. This can include the pursuit of special titles or roles. You stop spending time with family or friends outside the organization, or feel awkward speaking with them about your group and teacher. The proceeds from special fundraisers or regular income are spent on things other than their stated purpose. The teacher projects a glorified, idealized, or over-sexualized image of themselves on social media or other types of advertising. You become afraid of speaking openly, particularly when you have doubts, questions, or a need to challenge someone in a fair manner. You haven't made any progress responding to your unique, individual spiritual inquiry. Instead, your true path has been overshadowed or derailed by what their tradition says you should be focusing on instead.